Hello, welcome to the University of Law. It's been a long time since I've done a review. I've got quite a backlog, so I'll be getting through those over the coming days and weeks. But I thought I'd start with this that arrived today from in the post, and it is Susan's War. This is volume 3, Grandfather Time. I loved this, and that's why I'm starting with it. It's the most recent one, and I loved it. We say volume 3. It's interesting. I kind of see this as volume 2B, because the first volume was a 4-disc set, and then 2 and 3 have been two discs. So it kind of feels like it's one set that's been split, and it definitely has that feel to it because of the fact that there's a theme to it, which is we get the War Doctor in both. And I do like the fact that they've split it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I loved having that gap in the middle to build up the tension, to think about what might be happening next, and to kind of get you thinking, get you predicting. And also it means you're getting more releases, so it builds that suspense in, but it's also nice to get more artwork, different releases. So I think there's great big benefits to the direction they seem to be going in Big Finish at the moment, which is to that's better. Here we go. Which is to have more of these standalone releases. As I said, it's more of an event. You get that suspense that you have to wait, and it's also nice just to have multiple releases as well to look forward to. So here we are, Grandfather Time. So let's get it unwrapped. Now, as I'm sure you've guessed, Grandfather Time is a lovely play on words. Obviously, there's a whole thing about obviously like Grandfather Paradox and those old kind of sci-fi storylines. And then, of course, there's the fact that obviously Susan is the Doctor's granddaughter. We had some lovely references in the actual televised series last year to Susan, and that lovely reference about the fact that a Time Lord can have grandchild before a child because of the kind of temporal nature of Time Lord. So I really like that. It was the sort of line that only Russell T Davies could write, and I absolutely loved it. And obviously it was very heavily teased last year about her coming back, and obviously it was all a big red herring for Sutekh, or was it? I'm one of those people who thinks we will still see Susan at some point very soon, maybe in this upcoming season. Rusty Davis has already commented we're going to get some Time Lord lore, so I do believe that it was definitely a tease, and while it was kind of paid off in a different way in last year's finale, I do think we're going to get that paid off. But for now, we've got these lovely releases, and in particular, we've got these 2005 edition Dalek variant versions of the Dalek hover saucers. Although, to an extent, we had them in the Day of the Doctor, didn't we? They were a little bit different. They weren't as... These are very 60s, but just in the 2005 style. Whereas Day of the Doctor, they served the same purpose, but they were very much their own thing, I believe. And obviously, I love these photographs of the young War Doctor now. I don't have any issue, really, with the artworks, really, but I personally, my preference is photographic covers because the series is a TV series, and I like the fact that it sort of links photographically with that. It kind of gives you the only visual that you'd get of these stories otherwise. So let's open it up. Oh, goodness, bit stiff. Right. Cast list. Photographs of all the cast. Now, they were both really good stories. The first one in particular was very interesting. It has this this setup whereby there are these Kaleds who split off from the rest of the Kaleds many years ago, kind of exist in this sort of space station, in this bubble where they're inspired by Earth. And spoilers, by the way. And it's all about trying to keep them out of the war. And I guess one of the big themes of it really was kind of the whole concept of a fate worse than death. And I'll say no more than that, so I don't spoil it for you. But it was a really good cerebral story, which we've come to expect from these wonderful Time War stories. And in particular, we've got the six back to the 60s, Obviously, the colours were a 70s thing, but obviously Susan, Dalek, Skaro, it kind of links back to all of that. And then the second episode, these are the two previous sets, the second episode was a Vord story, and I have to say, Big Finish have really been fleshing out the Vord of late. They obviously did it in the Coda that we had recently, and I will be reviewing that at some point soon. So there's that 60s callback there, which obviously we sense rights they did in the first set. And obviously now it's the Vord, all these classic season 1 villains. But I really felt I'm starting to really get the Vord a bit more. I know there's been some early adventures with them before, but I really kind of felt I got the Vord a little bit more, especially in this story. And like the Vord lore, it was very interesting. Almost reminiscent of like the Mandalorians in some respect. Kind of had similar lore there. But I really enjoyed it, and obviously there was a great explanation for the War Doctor returning to his home time. I remember being quite unsure when I first heard about these sets because of it was an earlier McGann Rasmus, and I thought, well, how can that work if the War Doctor is after the Eighth Doctor? And obviously they brutally explained it because this has gone earlier back in his time stream. So I thought that was a really interesting concept, really interesting idea. But did you pick up the set? What did you think? Did you enjoy this box set? And what would you like out of a fourth volume? And more importantly, do you think that Susan is coming back? Do let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Look forward to speaking to you soon.